Alright, let's look at a little bit more of Photoshop's capabilities with correcting photos and perfecting pixels to just, make nice art. I took this photo a while ago, um, and what it is I left the shutter of my camera open on a tripod for like 15-20 seconds so that this light streak going across is a bus actually passing by. So with this, it kind of creates kind of a unique style because it captures the light mostly. So what I do is I lower the amount of light being taken into my camera, but I let it stay open for like 20 seconds so you can see these lights really get absorbed into the picture frame. And this is beautiful things that you can do with current cameras. This image is pretty good. I think it's a good picture, but there's a couple things I would like to perfect just to make this, photograph just like that much better. So I'm going to show you guys a couple tools here that is really cool in Photoshop. So I'm going to unlock my layer, double click, hit OK. So once I have my layer unlocked, I now have the ability to manipulate it all I want. So first let's look at this fun tool called the Stamp tool. This tool just allows me to correct pixels using kind of a stamp. You know, like a stamp, you would put it into an ink and then you could stamp it on a paper and it would, it would carry over the color of the ink and whatever's on the stamp. So this is the same kind of idea. Right here we have a tool called the Clone Stamp tool. So I'm going to select it. Right away it's going to open up a circle. So what I need to do with this tool is hold the Alt button. Once I hold Alt, you're going to see my circle changes. And what I need to do is I need to Alt click onto something that I want to use as the ink from a certain point of view. So in this case, I'm just going to stamp right here and click my left mouse button so it selected that. So now if I go over my future shop, I'm just going to use the squiggly brackets and grow my the circumference of my brush. If I click, I got to click a few times. You're going to see it's starting to replace the future shop with wherever I clicked. So you see I clicked right here previously as my center for as my stamp selection. So wherever I click, like if I click, let's say I click on Mark's Work Warehouse here, the blue, and then I go over, you're going to see it kind of carries the graphic. It carries the pixels just like you would do with a stamp. So I want to get rid of this future shop. That's my goal. So I need to kind of get creative a bit. So I'm going to stamp right here and I'm just going to start kind of like, if I want to increase the opacity of my stamp and the flow, I can increase or decrease it up here so that it just kind of, whoops. So that's not great. Like it's a start. We're getting rid of my future shop, but now I'm going to get more precise. So I'm going to stamp up here. This tool comes with a bit of practice and knowing where to stamp. Might stamp maybe over here and carry some of this shade over. I'm gonna stamp here. Maybe maybe bring down the tolerance of my circle a little bit. So I've started removing some pixels. Now it's time to blend it in a little bit. Right here there's a beautiful tool called the Smudge Tool. We have the Sharpen tool and the Blur tool. So if you see the Blur tool like a drop, it's under that menu, and it's the Smudge tool. And what this does is it allows me to kind of just smooth out pixels. We don't want to create too much emphasis on this building right now. So let's just zoom out. And now you can see the future shop is gone from the image. So that's kind of nice. It just like, it created too much of an emphasis, the red there. So I'm going to zoom in. I'm going to use the clone stamp tool for these kind of spots on my lens. They're pretty much lens flares, and they shouldn't really be there. So sometimes, even just like for safety, you might just want to duplicate your layer and work on that layer so that behind it you have your original, so you can go back to it if needed, so that you're not manipulating the original and then you figure out you don't like it, because these changes are done on the pixels. They're not filters or layers. So I just kind of clone stamp that. I'm going to hit Alt click here. I'm going to clone stamp this. Maybe hit Alt click. This one will be a little more challenging. Maybe Alt click here. Alt click here. And then just take the smudge tool. Just smudge it a little bit. This tool comes with a little bit of practice and a bit of creativity. So now if I zoom out, I got rid of those lens flares. There's a couple more here. I'm just going to go back to my clone stamp tool, hit Alt. Oops. In this case, I can increase the width. Bink, gone. Bink, gone. This one, I could do that. Maybe I'll click here instead, actually. Click, bink. Maybe a couple of clicks. Okay, so we've made the graphic. If I just hide it, you can see I just got rid of some of the lens flares. So now this graphics is looking a little bit cooler.